Welcome, AfterBuzzers. You are watching the after show for Notorious, where tonight we talk Levi's big secret and so much more.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome, AfterBuzzers. Wow, what a great, well, I don't know about great, but what a crazy show today. My name is Shaka Smith. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Shaka Strong.
And guys, I'm Sam Davidson. I'm filling in this week, a big Notorious fan. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at SamD43, and I'm in the live chat, I think. So chat with us.
Yes. I am still kind of floored. I really want to say I'm really mind blown, but I don't know if that's a really good word to use.
Too soon, too soon.
Oh my God, where to start? But I guess we'll start at the top with Oscar giving that interview. And I guess kind of essentially pointing the finger at Levi, because we know that Levi was Sweet Vicky. What did you think about that development?
I'm going to be honest, I don't remember, because that was news to me. I don't know if I didn't pick it up at the end of the last episode that I missed something, but I was like, oh, right.
Yeah, when they hacked his
that's
photos,
what they were doing. It kind of like connected the dots at the beginning of that episode. And I think it just makes me think that Oscar is the red herring, and not a good guy, like one of those stories, but he doesn't deserve to go right for a murder he didn't commit kind of thing. But this is the kind of show, it has you thinking one thing, so then the other thing that's real will creep up on you.
Yeah, exactly. And they're good at making those little twists. So certainly at the end, I did not expect that Levi had fallen in love with Oscar, and that was really the motivation behind it all.
I kind of got that. Not necessarily from the previous episodes, but once this episode started and I was watching Levi, I was like, oh, he's in love with him. Okay.
Yeah, I kept trying to figure out motivation, and that certainly cleared a lot of things up.
It was still unclear to me, though. To me, it almost sounded like he could have killed Sarah.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's it, because I think they would have made a bigger deal about it.
Yeah, and I feel like they would at least let us find that out.
Yeah.
And I think he would have, I feel like he was being very confessional at the end. So I think he would have said so had he done.
That's a really good point, because he was about to kill himself. So he would have said, and if it does end up being him, it will be very anticlimactic for the audience because he's dead.
Exactly. Like there's no justice or like sense of fairness.
Right.
But what a crazy last scene. First of all, would you have even gone to that house after getting that message?
Okay, I think that scene, it was one of those things with writers, I don't know, it just seemed out of character for Julia to do that.
Yeah, with no backup or no one else.
And it's like, this guy, you've bashed him publicly on your show again and again. You're going to go by yourself to his home at night.
Yeah.
With no backup, no like weapon of any sort.
And even if I made that mistake, the minute I like walked into that creepy open door and I just saw the hallway, I think I would have been like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, I'd be like, you know what? I should have called backup. I think I'm going to call backup, and then I'm going to come in with backup.
During the daytime.
Yeah, definitely during the daytime. I mean, I get it. News stories, she's trying to be on top of it.
Super proactive, but man.
But it was. And it's like she was when she called out his name, it was like, oh, you guys good old friends? Like you're just walking around, Levi. I was like, this is just kind of weird, the way she's behaving too.
Yeah, I thought he was almost going to set her up to do something bad to her. But then it quickly became clear he was going to kill himself. But that whole scene, what did you think about the manner in which he killed himself? Was he purposely trying to get his blood on her hands?
Probably. Yeah, I think I would have liked a little bit more explanation from him about how her show or how she has hurt him.
Yeah, because that would have made more sense that like he wanted her to like feel that sort of like guilt.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's not framing her because like the fingerprints are gonna be on his, all of that. But I think he did want to traumatize her.
Yeah,
and I have the feeling that this is going to be kind of a turn for her character for the rest of the season. She's gonna be more careful. I mean, I can't believe this is the first time that she's pushed someone this far, something like that's happened.
Yeah, and I think you see her pushing the boundaries a lot. I think for herself more than she's ever done so before. Mm-hmm. And I think we saw that a little bit with Louise. And I liked in this episode she was still apologizing to Louise about what she'd done in the previous episode.
Yeah, I wrote that down too, just because sometimes, in TV shows, people get in fights and then you think they resolve it and then they just don't ever bring it up again.
Yeah.
But real people remember when they do something crappy to someone else and they try to fix it. But sometimes TV shows just brush things under the rug, and I'm glad they did it.
Yeah, I like that moment. And I actually like that they are seriously developing that friendship, because so Louise is like more of a person to me now. I love that scene where she takes her out to kind of like burn the last remains. What do you think about that one?
I thought it was just really a shame they didn't get the dessert as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
Thought there would be some cherries.
yeah. But no, it's fun. I agree with you that I like they're turning Luis into less of a caricature.
Yeah.
And, you know, last week we got an explanation for why she is the way she is. And this week, you know, I like that it's these two women that are working together and that really care about each other.
Yeah, and trust each other, because it seems like trust is the huge issue in this show.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, I think, at least Luis needs to trust Julia because it's all in her hands. And, I mean, she shouldn't trust her after what she did last week, but, you know, Julia's apologetic, so I just hope she doesn't do it again. Or maybe I do.
And speaking of trust, we finally got, I think, what a lot of viewers were waiting for, was Ryan and Ella finally coming together. And I wish Becca were here, because I know she loves Ella. You know? She already shipped him.
We love you and miss you, Becca. You weirdo, little weirdo.
So what do you think about that development? Or were you rooting for them?
I mean, listen, I'm big fans of them both as actors, but to me, that was the one part of the episode I'm just like, it felt forced. And Ella's explanation about like who she was homeschooled, but then her mom was single and they lived in motels, so it's the only place she feels comfortable. That's kind of stupid. I was expecting it to be a little bit more crazy. It's like, make it crazier or just don't make it anything.
But I'm going to assume that there's more trauma behind that, because why were you guys moving so often? And was it just that she didn't have enough money to pay rent, or was there like more of a story?
You're right. Maybe they were like running from the law or something.
Or like an abusive like father or husband, or I'm guessing there has to be more, because it would be weird if it was just... Yeah, like
how sad.
Yeah, maybe she doesn't feel safe in like something that feels more like a home, and she feels safe in a motel.
Yeah,
but I'm assuming there's got to be some more.
Yeah, that safety thing's good. It would have been nice if she would have said like she said she trusts him.
Yeah,
which again she shouldn't.
Yeah,
but it would have been nice if she's like, I just never felt safe. Like I feel safe with you. Something to give us a little bit tease that there's going to be more to her story.
Yeah, because they really haven't developed the trust between them in the way that she's kind of talking about it, at least, you know?
Yeah, I feel like they need to give, like, this other characters and their storylines, and they have to, which I don't think is necessary, to have, like, a procedural kind of thing in every episode, like a story that finishes and ends.
And then they have the long, overarching one. Yeah. That's sort of like the way these type of dramas go.
Exactly. But the relationship with these two, I think they're two, like, pretty famous, very attractive actors. Everyone really likes them, so they want to give them their own thing, but it just seems like stuff is cut out a little bit.
Yeah, and I wonder if that has to do with, well, we'll go into predictions later, but, you know, I kind of think Ryan and Megan may have a thing, and maybe they're not developing that other thing because there might be a deeper connection somewhere else. But,
I have some good ones for you about that one,
yeah,
too.
So we'll have to talk about that later. But we also, so in terms of the case, this time was Jason Moore, the football player. What did you think about the scenario, the hazing scenario?
I liked it, first of all, because two of those actors, the one that played Chloe and the one that played, what was his friend's
name?
Finn.
Okay.
The one that played Finn. So Chloe was in this show that I love called Unreal that I do at AfterBuzz, and the show... I don't know if you know about it, so and everyone out there who doesn't know about it, it's basically a scripted, dramatized version of what the producers do to the contestants on a show like The Bachelor.
Oh, okay.
And cool. This show kind of reminded me of it a little bit in a way because it's these strong women that are running a show and the craziness that ensues. So she was in that, so I loved seeing her. And with Finn, he's on Nashville, one of my other favorite shows. And it was. I actually liked the storyline a lot this episode.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting, and they had the twists and the turns because you know everything was pointing towards Dax, and it's this anonymous person, and then we find out maybe it was these two football players. That was my favorite. I guess cat and mouse type of game. What did you think about how they outsmarted and try to ferret out the real killer, or the killers who they thought at the time?
I mean, it's awesome. Like, I love Jake.
Yeah.
Love him. He's so good. And we both laughed when the two kids, sad, they thought that they killed the guy. And they're like, we didn't mean to kill him. It's like, that was easy.
Yeah, like, my God. Yeah, it was like, geez, there was no suspense, nothing.
I thought it was the coach.
Yeah, I thought it was the coach. But really, it kind of was the coach if that had been the reason for the death.
Right, but it wasn't.
Yeah, but we got the twist that Finn somehow did it. I actually liked when Jake's brother went to the court and got the what do you call it, subpoena. I like that because I'm also a lawyer, and so I like that they went into some of the legal stuff. It had to be an imminent threat for them to get it, because some of those shows like this, they kind of throw away some of the law or some of the procedures that people do have to go through. So I did like that they had moments where they addressed like some of the legal things that they had to obtain.
Is it hard for you to watch TV shows, especially ones that have to do with the law?
No, I love it because I love watching where they decided that's going to be way too boring. Let's make this more like hyped up, because there are times when you object in court, it's not going to be as like fantastic as you see on TV.
Right.
So I like watching where they decide, okay, now is where we got to go away from what you would do and make it fun.
Yeah, that is cool actually. If you you're like, interesting. Well, they cut this out.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not like there's some people who are just like, I can't believe they're not following, but then it would be a boring show. You know what I mean? So I thought that was a real cool element to the episode. But yeah, so now we have, they're all brother and sister, right?
Finn
Dax
isn't.
and Chloe.
Dax and Chloe are. Finn
Okay.
is the best friend that ended up moving in with them.
I mean, you would assume he was good friends with Dax as well.
He was. So the three of them lived together, and it seems like Dax and Finn were best friends, and then they had a third, Jason, but junior year, he got popular, got into football, and got a scholarship, so he left them, and they seemed probably a little bit bitter. And then the three of them, Chloe, Dax, and Finn, all lived together. So even though he wasn't a brother exactly, I think to Chloe and Dax, he was like a brother.
And see, it didn't make sense to me that he would then like just point the finger at Dax because everyone would believe it. I mean, no one's even pointing the finger at you. Why are you trying to have a red herring here?
Yeah, it was pretty messed up. I don't understand either, like, why.
Wouldn't you wait till at least you saw if people were even looking at you, or
Yeah.
I would wait. I wouldn't go like immediately tell the world it was my best friend. But I think they also addressed the way social media, not social media, but like these apps and like technology can play a role in some of this. What do you think about that?
I will say I thought it was fascinating, but I'm 29. I'm not super hip and young, but I actually am. And that's not the way those apps work. First of all, not every person in the cafeteria at college is going to have a Whisper app.
Yeah, and going to have it ring at the same time, and everyone's going to be...
Yeah, it kind of just felt like to me this was written by like maybe people that were a little bit older and like are making some assumptions about social media. It was unrealistic, that part to me.
Yeah, but but given that world, I loved how they were like, let's just wait to see who comes out.
Yeah. It was, and I do like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I love Pretty Little Liars. They always get those stupid texts on their phone and everyone's like, totally unrealistic. But, it was kind of a fun thing to play with.
Yeah, sort of like a cool little, almost a different take on Snapchat kind of stuff going out to the world.
Yeah.
And then we also had the coach, and I love the coach and the interview that he gives, and he finally breaks. What did you think about that character? That character reminded me of perhaps some political figures out there today. But what did you think about that character?
I loved it because specifically, he kept on interrupting Louise. I forget what he said exactly, but it was like, hold on, get,
You want to give you that straight talk? Yeah.
Yeah, and he would interrupt her, and you could tell by the way Louise looked, and Julia, it's like, oh no, he didn't.
Yeah.
But they had to continue with the interview, and he was getting under my skin. And then I knew that at least justice would be served on their part because he pissed them off.
Yeah, and I knew that they knew what an idiot he was. So when he wanted to talk even more, they were happy to let him because they knew that he'd just bury himself eventually.
Mm-hmm. That's the best thing with those people. Just let them go. They'll become a meme, and it's done.
Yeah, I just loved the looks Louise would give him when he would interrupt.
And I like too how Louise and Julia, when Louise is on the air, she'll look, well, I don't know how they do it. It's pretty cool. Then she'll look at Julia and you can see, you know, Julia's like behind a glass thing but you can see them exchange eye contact like, oh yeah, and they know what each of them is saying. And then the show continues. I really like that.
Yeah, I think there's something that cast has got really good chemistry with one another. I think that shows just from the different looks they give each other and like what you see from that.
I think the cast is fantastic. Yeah.
Well, let's go into our predictions. Oh. There we go. We got the little Swami music.
Your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Okay, so I don't know if anyone has said anything like this before. I love Ryan. Love him. But I think that Ryan, there's something up with Ryan.
Yeah, something feels funny.
Have you guys said that before?
Yeah, we think something, we don't know what is going on with Ryan, but something is up.
Yeah, and it wouldn't completely shock me if he had something to do with Sarah's murder.
Wow. I think someone mentioned that, but I would be floored.
I mean, has anyone seen The Boy Next Door with Jennifer Lopez and him? He is like kind of scary in that, but sexy. And but he also is obsessed with Julia.
Yeah, he's upset, but his father, like, he's grown up in privilege. You know, why would he?
Those are sometimes, you know, those are the kids that are like, I can get away with anything.
Yeah,
and they kind of just want to continue to test things until they get caught and get noticed.
He does have what might turn out to be an unhealthy obsession with Julia.
Yes, and I think that is going to kind of come to a head.
If he wouldn't tell Julia about the confession of the football players, I don't think he would kill for her.
Yeah, but you know what? I think there's just something up with him.
Definitely something's up with him. Yeah.
I could see the season finale, her finding out that it was Ryan who killed Sarah, and then being cornered with him, and him being like, "It's just because I love you," and you know, like, I wanted you to have the best story. One of those kind of things. And I think there's a lot of chemistry between Jake and Julia.
Yeah. And
we don't really understand their backstory yet.
Yeah, and what we did see, I get a lot this episode, was that she's still really hung up on Eric. Like you said, like, we'd kind of forgotten about that relationship, but they really kind of came back and weaved in the fact that this was a real thing for her.
Yeah, and I appreciated that. Yeah. I didn't realize until tonight. Somehow I knew he looked familiar. That the actor that plays him was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, Mark Lucas.
Yeah. My cat's name is Buffy. I'm a huge fan, so I was like embarrassed that I didn't make that connection. Someone that wasn't even watching the show with us was like, "Oh yeah, that's the guy from Buffy," and I was like, "Oh my god, that's the guy from Buffy, Riley." But yeah, I think and Megan, that's her name, right?
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a lot more with her and her coming into the story.
Yeah, you know what I think? I think we got so much information in the pilot, but now we're just looking to develop it. And so we keep getting these little nuggets that are like giving us more and more and more. And I want more of the meat of the relationships of everybody.
Yeah, me too.
So, well, my prediction would be, well, not as bold as Ryan committing that murder.
Well, who do you think did it?
That's a very good question. Well, if it's among the characters on the show, it's got to be Ryan, right?
Now he thinks it. He didn't think he thought it, but I planted it in his head.
I think you did. Oh, who would have done it? Because Levi was the best guess, and now he's gone too.
Yeah.
You know, I see them introducing another character with some backstory, and maybe it'll be that character.
Okay, fair enough.
Because it can't be someone already in our world, but. I would say my big prediction is that the Megan and Ryan connection will be a lot deeper, and that Ryan will find himself closer with her than.
You mean Ella or?
No, Ryan and Megan.
Oh, Ryan and Megan.
I think Ryan and Ella will kind of fizzle out. I think Ryan and Megan will be the couple that makes it.
That's super random.
'Cause I thought they had so much chemistry in the last episode, and like I thought it was a different chemistry it felt more real, but they were saying it was more like motherly or big sisterly, but I felt a chemistry there.
Yeah, well, you know, I think that the thing with Ella and Ryan is not. I think that he's using her.
And I think they're gonna get into trouble because I think at some point they will be like wanting to use each other's information and wanting to swap this and that, and one will go behind each other's back and, you know, do things for their job that put them at odds. You know.
But do you agree with me about Jake and Julia?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have a chemistry, and I was hoping to get get them together quicker, but I think that she's got to work some more stuff out before that goes that route.
Yeah, and it seems like, you know, it's one of those things, your buddies, your friends,
Yeah.
turns into something else. I'm excited
Yeah,
for
we know
it.
he's super damaged from Sarah, so hopefully when they get together, it's not like just fireworks and it explodes. But,
Yeah, I know.
Because they both seem a little broken on the relationship front.
Yeah, you know what? They don't need to be in a relationship. They can just know that, like, they're soulmates, and we'll know that they're soulmates, and we'll just wait it
And
out.
we'll wait it out. I like it. Well, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the show and the after show. We'll be back here, same time, same place. My name is Shaka Smith. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Shaka Strong.
And you guys can find me, Sam Davidson, at samdavidsonentertainment.com, Twitter and Instagram at samd43. Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. See you guys later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.